Jarrell Miller is finally starting to be realistic. He did an interview on the phone with Kugan Cassius on IFL, which was uploaded earlier today. And he said that there's politics going on in American boxing at the moment. Politics that he's not happy about. They're trying to get him to fight one of his, what he calls friends, on Showtime. And because he don't want to fight that guy, they're blackballing him. This is what Jarrell Miller's saying. Because of that, he now says that he's willing to go to the UK and fight Dillian Whyte on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. I hope that fight happens. I would like to see that fight, but I don't think it's actually going to take place. Not on that day anyway. Not on the Joshua Pulev undercard. And I think it will come down to money. Jarrell Miller kept saying Eddie Hearn has to tell him the right figure, the right amount of money. I don't think he's going to tell him the right amount of money. This show is an Anthony Joshua show. The majority of the money is being taken by Anthony Joshua and his opponent Kubrat Pulev, who's on a certain percentage as a mandatory challenger. I can't see them forking out from the show budget big purses for Dillian Whyte and Jarrell Miller, because Dillian Whyte knows that Jarrell Miller is a tough fight, despite what he's saying. He's not going to want anything less than a nice purse for taking such a risk, especially before he's had a world title fight. And likewise with Jarrell Miller for traveling over to the UK, where the judges and the referee might not necessarily see things his way. He wants to be adequately compensated for that. So I don't think that Eddie Hearn is going to tell Jarrell Miller the figure that he wants to hear. That's just my view. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll make a video celebrating the fact that I'm wrong. I want to be wrong in this instance, but that's my gut instinct. I don't think Dillian Whyte versus Jarrell Miller is going to happen. I think there's a better chance of Dillian Whyte versus Robert Helenius. And it was interesting to me that Anthony Joshua, when he was interviewed again on IFL by Kugan, I think it was by Kugan, when they were talking about fights for Dillian, the Helenius fight was the fight that he seemed happiest about. Now, is that because stylistically he thinks it's a better matchup than putting Dillian Whyte in with a Lucas Brown or a Chisora or a Big Baby Miller? Or is it because he thinks that Helenius would come cheaper? So, you know, because again, according to Eddie Hearn, he's done several interviews where he said this, and I'm sure some of you have seen them. Hearn says that the final say in terms of how the show budget is spent for Joshua shows, the final say is had by Anthony Joshua. He gets to say whether we have this matchup or that matchup on the show, whether we want to pay for this or that fight. According to Hearn, it's down to Joshua ultimately. So maybe he's thinking, oh, well, Helenius will come cheap. We'll stick him in with Dillian Whyte. I have no inside knowledge. I'm just going off what Eddie Hearn has said and what Joshua said. So drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you feel about this whole Dillian Whyte, Jarrell Miller situation. Do you think it will happen? Are you more optimistic than me? If it did happen, who would you be picking in the fight? How would the fight go? And if it's not Jarrell Miller, and we know it's not Chisora because Eddie Hearn said it's not going to be Chisora on Chisora versus Whyte on the undercard of Joshua versus Pulev. So if it's not going to be those guys, who else would you like Dillian Whyte to fight? What do you think about the Helenius fight? Would that disappoint you? Again, drop it all in the comment section below. I think I've mentioned before, I think Dillian Whyte would like the Helenius fight because of the fact that Helenius is the same kind of dimensions as the heavyweight champions, at least Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. He's not as athletic as those guys, obviously, but in terms of, you know, height and reach, even physical body mass, it's similar to Joshua and whatnot. So I think Dillian Whyte might prefer Helenius, actually. Anyway, let me know how you feel about everything I talked about in this video. It's Hatman, I'm out.